Welcome to another Full Curl Fitness Friday where we put and keep sheep hunters on the mountain. Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about pulling. And so, in the previous two episodes, we talked about functional fitness, the three main movement patterns: pulling, pushing, and hinging at the hips, or legs for short. And then we talked about scaling, which is how we take any movement pattern and make it to where we can be successful at it. So, today we're going to get into the pulling movements and options you have and talk about how to scale them so that you can be successful. So, when we talk about pulling or pushing, particularly, we have three main vectors of doing so. We could pull up, we could pull towards us, we could pull it down. So, up, honestly, I'm probably not going to focus on programming that as much. There's not a lot of times where when we're lifting things, we're going to bend over and like lift things up and down in real life. I would argue that we're typically either doing like a deadlift or a squat or maybe a complex movement like a clean Olympic lifting movement. And that's something that you can get into if you have the capacity to do something more complex like that, no problem. And perhaps maybe we'll get into that later. But for now, we're going to focus on pulling this way and pulling down. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a TRX strap. We're going to do a standing row with the TRX strap. This is great because they're pretty ubiquitous. You can find TRX straps in virtually any gym. And then if you're working out at home, not terribly expensive to purchase, maybe $40, $60, $70 ballpark off of Amazon. You can purchase a set, mount them securely onto the wall so they don't pull out and you don't get hurt. But we're just going to stand nice and upright, keep our body very taut, pinching a penny between the butt cheeks, penny between the inside of thighs, engaging our core. I'm going to lower myself down. You can see my body's moving as a unit, and I pull myself back up with my knuckles to my ribs. Again, lowering myself down and pulling myself back up. So I'm using full range of motion with the arms. Elbows are completely straight and knuckles are clear back to the ribs. In addition to that, again, very important, we're keeping the body taut, which is really good to engage the muscles in the core and the pelvis, which strengthens the core and pelvis, but it also protects those so that you can safely generate force pushing and pulling without your spine deviating during that process. So really concentrate on those cues. Now, our scaling, as I get stronger, I can be more and more upright, more and more parallel towards the ground and move more of a load. And eventually, at some point, I'm so far down that I'm practically ready to do pull-ups at this point because I have that strength and capacity. Now, in my facility here, in my PT room, I don't have a pull-up assisted pull-up machine here to show you, but pull-ups are going to be in this vector. I realize not everybody has pull-up strength. If you do, fantastic, do pull-ups. If you don't, what I want you to think about is using an assisted pull-up machine if you have a gym that has one. And essentially it's a machine that you kneel on and there's the stack of weights. You set the weight to assist you in pulling up and doing a pull-up movement. So that being said, as you're weaker, you use more assistance. As you're stronger, you use less. And eventually, at some point, you may be able to transition to doing pull-ups. Quick theory on gymnastics movements like pull-ups. We don't suddenly go from none to 10. And so there's kind of that twilight period where you have some capacity, but doing a whole set of 10 unbroken is just not a thing. And one thing that you can look at doing is doing singles to start with. And so I could program a set of 10 or 8 and just do 8 singles. Come down, breathe for 3-4 breaths, come up, do a single, come down, and then you can build volume and suddenly they're 2s and then 3s and then 4s. So that's a good way to think about building up your pulling strength. That's pulling for today. If you appreciate what we're talking about here, please feel free to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel or share. Thank you and have a good day.